So I'm going to share with you about community resiliency. No, it's a community resiliency model. So I'll be sharing you quickly about skills that will enable us become resilient. Okay. So so what is the community resiliency model? So it's a as human beings, there is always a biological reaction common to most of us, common to every one of us after we experience a traumatic trauma, no? So we are having a common experience to an extraordinary life event. It's something that is common because these are biological sensations. So community resiliency model skills can be used as a wellness practice. It teaches skills to help children and adults experiencing stress and traumatic stress reactions. So current scientific research is demonstrating that the brain can be changed. We know about neuroplasticity. Okay. Next. So what is the community resiliency model? It was developed by Trauma Resource Institute. If you can remember, the Philippines experienced the strongest typhoon in 2013, Typhoon Haiyan, where our region was in ground zero, so we were all devastated, and so that we had to, something has to be done for us to be able to go back to our resilience zone. So these are the skills that helps us. So Trauma Resource Institute is an institute based in the United States, in California. Its objective is to create a resilient, informed, and trauma-informed individuals and communities. So it's committed to bring wellness skills based on cutting-edge neuroscience to our world community, one person at a time, one community at a time. At first, I don't understand why is it called community resiliency model. So why is it community? When in fact it's only talking about listening to oneself, understanding biological sensations. And after we have been trained and was able to apply it and teach the skills, we realize that it is easy to transfer the skills to others. And it can be applied in so many circumstances in our personal lives, in our lives in the family, in dealing with our spouses, and dealing with our children when they have tantrums, when we are stressed, and also it can be applied by anyone who already knows the skills at any point in time. It's something that is handy that we can use. It's a tool that we can use. So that's why it's called community resiliency model. So it's a set of 6 wellness skills. So the purpose of the skills is to help us reset the natural balance of the nervous system. I'll tell you about it later. No? Brings awareness to the inherent ability to come back into our resilience zone. So what is our resilience zone? So this is how it is. Our resilience zone, the normal is our normal flow. No, when we are at our best, when even if we are, it is normal that we are charged with certain things, no? That we get some kind of stress, but as long as we are able to manage it, we're able to come back. We can only do that if we are not too stressed, or we become too depressed, or we become too triggered that we become so angry. So if we use the skills with the resilience skills, this resilience zone will expand because we would be able to know how to manage ourselves. You know? Okay, and that we will be able to think, to do what is supposed to be done to be able to respond to crises. Because when we are out of our resilience zone, we will not be able to think. Okay, so this is what happens when we experience a traumatic event. So, like for example, there are triggers. What are those? Like when we are bullied, or when somebody, our loved ones, hurt us, or our loved ones died, or when we experience disasters, or when we, for example, now that there is the threat of COVID, when we know that, oh, someone's there, there's COVID, and we do not know what to do. We thought that we will be infected. We are not prepared. So that makes us excited. That makes us anxious. So we become hyper vigilant. We become hypersensitive. So, or sometimes we get depressed. What will happen to us? What will happen? Is the world gonna end? So we experience exhaustion, we experience fatigue. And when we dwell on that, we are bumped out of our resilience zone. That would actually uh, put us into a state of depression. And the results will not be different for everyone. Depends on how we react. So there could be some reactions in our thinking, like we couldn't think at all. We get confused with all those so many information, where what is the truth, what is real. So whom do we believe? Okay, or I just give up. So our emotion is also, we reacted like we become so sad, or we become very angry. Physically, we also like feel some pains. When we are stressed, there are pains in the back. We have some headaches. We get allergic reactions. We palpitate. No, our blood pressure rise. So that's what happens. Those are the common reactions. Spiritually, when we are so frustrated and angry, we think that, oh my goodness, we were abandoned. Like sometimes people would lose their faith in the creator, no? Because, oh, they would be blaming, who are they going to blame? So they would be losing their faith. Behavioral reactions would be in the form of addictive behaviors. Some would go into drinking, some would go into drugs, smoking, and even violence. So those are uh, common reactions to trauma and stress. Okay, so what are those skills? So these are six skills. There is tracking, when you are able to track the sensations inside. And then there's resourcing, and then you intensify that resource. There's grounding, gesturing, and spontaneous movement. Help now, shift and stay. I'll explain that quickly. Actually, there are exercises. It takes a week, but then it's good to be sharing this because it's easy to understand. So what are the tracking sensations? This is very basic. That means we should be able to understand how the sensations inside our bodies. Like we do not ask what we feel. We do not ask the person, what do you feel? But what we ask is, what are the sensations? What do you notice inside your body? So do you notice how's your breathing pattern? Is it rapid or is it shallow? Are you panting? So when one becomes nervous and anxious, they pant. So what do you notice in your heart rate? Okay, can you put your can you put your hands on your heart? What do you notice in your heart rate now? Okay, and then are there on your muscles? No, because some would have no experienced firmness. The shifts in the posture. So when we're working with someone, uh, we will have to observe what are the when somebody would be unstable. No? The change in temperature, the sweating. Someone would be, others would be sweating. So and other movements. So these are sensations. These are not feelings, but sensations because these are biological reactions. Okay. So that's what we do. We track the sensations. And then, uh, for example, when somebody is stressed, we ask, what do you notice inside? Because you have to know what do you notice inside of you, and then use a skill to be able to, for example, to calm down, to calm down, to pacify, no, the anxiety. So then you have to use a skill, and one of those skills is building resources. So what gives you strength? So instead of focusing, when we think of a resource, of something that gives us joy or strength, the moment we think about it, it comes us down. No, it gives us a good feeling. So the sensations in our body changes instantly. Okay. So the proper question is, what gives you strength? You do not ask, what was the problem? What happened? Because you are digging into the problem, all the more that the anxiety will increase. No? So what gives you strength? What gives you joy? Oh, and then the person will be able to calm down, because then you have to watch out when their eyes, oh, I noticed that your eyes light up. Tell me about that person that gives you joy. So you are already like intensifying the resource. So, and then when the person is telling us about that resource, or even ourselves, when we think about the resource, then we notice ourselves again. So what do we notice inside our body? Are we calm now? Are we are is our heart rate already like calm? It's normal. It's not anymore beating fast. Okay, so it can be a person, a place, an animal, a spiritual belief that sustains. But what gives you joy? What gives you strength? That is an instant, a question that would give a person an instant like relief. So when the person gives us the resource that gives her joy, we can ask her to tell us more about that resource, especially when the anxieties are still there. So let her feel comfortable and tell us about resource. So even if you are not talking to a person, even when we have problems ourselves, so we just think a memory, a good feeling. Much because some of those give us an opposite reaction. It will make us feel sad. So we will have to watch about that. No. So you give us details about resource. Give us three things about resource. Like, what do you like about your cat? what makes you happy when you have your cat? Oh, but when the person is telling us that the cat died, but what can you recall a moment when you feel most joy when you were playing with your cat? Yeah. So you focus on the joy. Okay. That's resource intensification. Another skill is grounding. So this is easy. Okay. So when the person is anxious, I was able to teach the skill to a sister from Cameroon when she was posting on Facebook that she was so anxious, she had problem, something was going on outside the house, and then so I had to catch her and then let her grounded. No, so you can simply say that, okay, oh, where are you? Are you? Where are you? You tell her to notice the environment, because when someone is anxious, stressed, he or she is not at the present moment. So to bring her to the present moment, then there should be grounding. And there are many ways to keep grounded. Okay, I'm sitting in front of a computer. Okay, so can you feel your back? So what is the sensation in your back? Is it hard? Your chair? What is your chair? Is your what's the sensation? No, is your chair rough? Is it coarse? Is it smooth? How about the floor? Is it, what is it? Describe the floor. Oh, it's cold. Then the thinking, the mind will be on the present moment. Or, for example, we do this with our children. When our children is having a tantrum, we tell them, oh, there's a lizard there. There's a lizard. So the focus will be on the lizard. Or somebody, okay, so what do you notice? Where are you? Can you tell me about 3 things in your room? That would give her, that will focus her attention to there's a painting, there's a bike, there's a picture, or give me at least like 5 colors. What are the colors that you notice? Red, black, blue. That's one way of grounding. Okay. So that helps the person stay in the present. Step, you can also do that. You can do that everywhere, anywhere, even if you're in the water. Okay. So feel the sand or feel the surface of the bed. Another skill, this we already have the third skill. Tracking sensations, the first is sensation, the second skill is resourcing and resource intensification. The third skill is grounding. Okay. The next one is gesturing and spontaneous movement. Um, what what are the gestures that makes you feel calm? What are the gestures that makes you feel relaxed and comfortable? Can you demonstrate it? What are the gestures? What is something that you do, and even without you noticing it, that you feel relaxed? Like, for example, like this. I feel relaxed. When you stretch your arms like that, or when I hug, oh, I feel relaxed. Okay, so these are movements usually the body expresses or emphasizes an idea, sentiment, or attitude. So it's paying attention to calming, releasing, protective, and gestures, or the universal gestures. Like this, hello, I feel happy, I feel calm, or namaste. Okay, oh, my internet is unstable. Namaste. Yes. And for it to be applied, you can use you can ask the person to slow down. No? Slow down the movement, slowing down comforting movements.
Hi, Paulina. Like we are losing her. Wow.
She did send me the slides, so I can pull them up here.
Okay.
I'm here already.
Okay.
Okay.
Paulina, do you want me
Welcome
to
back.
pull up the slides for you so it's not as much pull on your network?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what do I do? Should
Just
I
wait 1 second? It's loading. Here we go.
So where are we?
Let's see. I'm on the wrong slide. Is this where we are?
So, oh, so we're just on grounding.
Or were we here? Sorry
No,
if I...
on gesturing and
Oh,
spontaneous.
gesturing. So can you show me your gestures when you feel calm? When you, something that is comforting to you? Or something that will make you happy? Yeah, so these are paying attention to calming, releasing, protective, and universal gestures. Like this. Okay. So you slow down the movement so that you will be able to feel. No? The next skill is help now. Help now is when you need this when you are too stressed and that something has to happen so that you will be able to go back to your resiliency zone. So these are like the emergency response. Help now. So if the person is like shutting her eyes, then what the help now is to open eyes if they have the tendency to shut. Or drink water. Let her drink water. That's an help now. When the person is too stressed or too anxious or one is crying, give her water. Yeah. And then once she drank the water, then you ask, what are the sensations inside? Could you sense the water in your throat, going down your throat? Well, because that will make her focus. Her focus would be on the water down her throat, no? Or look around the room, notice furniture, temperature, sounds, or can push hands against the wall. Push and hands as hard as they can. Okay? Okay, you push your hand against the wall. That's another thing. That's help now. Another one. Shift stay. And it's another skill, the shift and stay. By the way, another way of helping a person, especially if she is so stressed, is to walk backwards. You count from 20 to 1, and then you walk backwards. Can you imagine what I'm saying? You walk backwards, count 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, until 1. So can you imagine? So by that time, the person is going to calm down, no? So he will be able to, or she will be able to go back to her resilience zone, okay? So shift and stay. The shift and stay happens when you ground her, when you do grounding, when you do resourcing, gesturing. That means that you shift the attention of the person by through grounding or through gesturing or by asking the person about a resource. the shift and then stay in that, on that resource. You intensify the resource, or you shift and stay by grounding. Yeah, then you ask about the sensations when the person is grounding. So that's what you do. So very quick way, no, of returning the person to her or resilience zone. Okay. Next. Actually, we're done. We're done with the 6 skills. And this one is an exercise that we do where it is when we ask them to, which you can also do, to draw your tree of life, a tree of life exercise. So it helps you, it helps the person count her blessings. Okay. For example, the tree represents the trunk. The trunk represents your essence. The roots of the tree represents your village. So what's your name? Where do you come from? That's your roots. That's your roots. So the trunk is your essence. And then what is your essence as a person? And then the fruits of the trees, then you just list down what are the fruits. What are your accomplishments? You were able to do this. So that is resource intensification. And then your twigs, the branches are the new directions, your hopes and dreams. And then the leaves are, what are you most proud of? Here you see our foliage, the leaves. What do you love most about yourself? No? And also the compost, even the compost, what nurtures you, who helps you. And then the fruits that fall are, what are the losses? No? The losses of any kind. So this is a good exercise. So that's it about community resilience skills. It would be good if there is an exercise. Okay. Thank you. Salamat in Filipino, and thank you.